friends, hope you're having a fabulous day. I'm going to do a little kind of mini series on these 5 tags that I recently taught, and each one of them has a different technique on it that I want to share with you. So the first video that I'm going to actually do has to do with the leaves that I created to use on the tags. See them? Aren't they so pretty? So I have 2 of them that are just cut out of craft paper. One of them is cut from black paper. This one is cut from fluted paper. And then this one is cardstock that is covered by music paper. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to be using frosted pine polishing plaster. Now, I don't know if you knew this, but you can paint with polishing plasters. Hello, let me repeat that for you again. You can paint using polishing plasters, and let me show you how. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of this polishing plaster, that's a lot, and place it on my craft mat. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray some water, and what I want to do is create a slurry with the polishing plaster. So I'm going to grab some of it and I'm going to just mix that water in there. And this just makes it a little bit easier to paint with. All right, so now that I have this little slurry made up, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint it over my ivy. So not only are you getting this very yummy color, but it also is going to have a little bit of texture to it because it's made with polishing plaster. Set that aside. So I'm just going to continue to do this to all of these ivies. Some of them will be a little thicker. The slurry will be a wee bit thicker than the other one. That's okay. That's nature. Nature is not flat. All right, then we're going to take this fluted one here. I'm just actually going to kind of rub that in this leftover that's on my craft mat. Let's put a little bit more down there so that it just hits on the high points of the flute, those ridges that are in there. Look at that. How cool is that? All right. That one's kind of a little different. All right, then we have our black one. And I love that actually I'm doing this and the black is kind of showing through. All this shimmery goodness going on here. So for the tag series, I need 5 of these made. That's number 3. Oh, I'm incorrect. That is number 4. And here is our last one. Oh, look at all this. Yum. Oh my gosh. You know, I actually literally get excited every single time I use Perfect Paints and trying to figure out all these different ways that I can use them in my creations. All right, so this one's kind of cool because it has what I call white noise in it, because you can see through the polishing plaster to the music paper that was adhered to the cardstock before I cut the ivy. All right, so now we need to let these dry, and we're going to come back and put on another layer. So to speed up the drying process, I'm just going to pull my heat tool out, give these guys a little bit of heat on them so that they'll dry a little quicker. And as you can see up here in the corner, I have a slogan, never waste perfect paints. So I had some of these previously painted ivies that I just went and used that slurry on. So they'll get used somewhere, that's for sure. All right, so they are all nice and dry now. And the next thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to take a little bit of spring green, a little dabble do ya. I'm going to take that, put it on my craft mat. I'm going to add to it a little bit of Perfect Glaze Medium right here. Just take a little smidge of that. Not quite half and half. Okay, and look at that green. Oh my gosh. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paintbrush, these little darlings of mine, and I'm just going to paint on them, giving a little bit of a highlight to our leaves. As we know, we always have shadows and highlights on everything. And I'm just going to continue this process all over all of my little ivies that I got here. Now you're asking, why did I do that glaze? Well, what the glaze does is it dilutes down the shimmering matte acrylic into an even more transparent color. Why did I do the water? Because it helps me pick up color better. I find when my paintbrush has a little bit more water in it. Once again, we're just going to continue this on all of our ivies. These two colors look so fabulous together. All right, so for this one, I'm going to take a little bit more of that water. So now I've added water to the glaze mixture, and I'm just going to very gently just kind of paint over the whole thing. Why not? Let's try different ways to add color onto our ivies. And for our last one here, I'm going to get that green down in there. So spring green, in case you didn't know, is one of 3 of the shimmering matte acrylics that are double pigmented. Spring green is one. Cantaloupe is another, which we're going to use, and you'll see what I mean by that. And the third one is vintage patina. So what you'll see here is not only are we getting the green, but we're also getting a gold. So here, let me lift this up so that you can get a little bit of a closer view. Oh my gosh, just look at all of that yumminess. All right, so there we have our 5 ivies that we're going to use. I'm going to hit these with a little bit more heat, dry them, and then I'll come back. So here we have our 5 ivies that we're going to use on our tags. But you know, nature's never flat. So what I like to do is create a little bit more depth to my creations. So I kind of just bend the leaves here and there. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat that. And all I do is I kind of take the 2 edges, push it together, and bend a little bit so that you get these nice dimensional leaves with their shadows and their highlights. So doesn't this leaf just look a whole lot better than this flat one over here? A little more realistic. And there you have it, our 5 ivies that we're going to use to create our tags. So the next video that I'm going to do will be this one right here. And I named it Tone on Tone. And so be watching for the next episode of Perfect Paints Techniques. I'll see you on the other side. Till then, stay creative. Bye.